Right, we're starting off with updates from one of the most highly spoken about wars in recent times, the Russia-Ukraine war. Now, Vladimir Putin made some of his most explicatory remarks to date about the Ukraine conflict. The Russian president told the leaders of the G20 that it was necessary to think about how to stop the tragedy of the war. For Putin, it was a rare interaction with Western leaders since the start of the war last year. It was also the first time he had to listen to direct public criticism of the invasion of Ukraine at an international event.
Some of the colleagues said in their speeches that they were shocked by the ongoing aggression of Russia and Ukraine. Yes, of course, military action is always a tragedy. Definite people, definite families, and of a country as a whole. And of course, we should think about how to stop this tragedy. By the way, Russia has never refused peace talks with Ukraine.
Although clearly intended for international consumption, the remark is one of Putin's most conciliatory responses on the war so far. It contrasts with his sometimes long diatribes about the failings and arrogance of the United States. Putin set out the Russian case that Kiev had persecuted people in eastern Ukraine. He said, and I'm quoting here, "I understand that this war and the death of people cannot but shock. The plight of civilians in Gaza, which he called an extermination, was also shocking." He said that, implying that the West was willing to overlook the aggression there. The Russian president said it was surely shocking that doctors in Gaza were having to perform operations on children without anesthesia.
I understand that this war, death of people, can be extremely shocking, but what about the bloody state coup in Ukraine in 2014, which was followed by the war of the Kiev regime against their own people in Donbass? Is it not shocking? What about the elimination of civilians in Palestine and Gaza? Is that not shocking?
Analysts say Putin is no longer speaking only to his people, trying to justify the war in Ukraine. He is competing with the West for allies across the developing world, where his allegations of Western hypocrisy are resonating. For many nations outside of the West, the idea that the Ukraine war is a struggle against American hegemony offers the option of staying disengaged. As per a Council of Foreign Affairs publications, for many in the global South, the fact that Putin destroyed US monopoly on violence makes him at least a situational ally. The failure of a Ukrainian counteroffensive to achieve any real gains this year has raised concerns in the West over the strategy. Along with Crimea that Moscow annexed in 2014, Russia controls about 17.5% of Ukrainian territory.